Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. In this quick video, we are discussing contingency reserve and management reserve. So what are these concepts? When do you use contingency reserve? When do you use management reserve? When do you not use both of these? So those are some of the questions you will get answers to if you watch this video till the end. We also have a pyramid that is going to explain to you some other cost related concepts like cost baseline, cost budget, and stuff like that. So that is definitely going to be very helpful. So watch this video till the end. Also, if you're into reading articles, then first link in the description is going to take you to a relevant article on this topic over at our official website pmclounge.com, so you can check that out. Second and third links are also very important as they are playlists of every single video that we have done on risk management knowledge area, as well as the Lounge Fever series for risk management knowledge area. That is a series where we answer your questions. If you also have a question related to risk management knowledge area, you can drop it in the comments. We'll definitely respond. And if it helps the larger audience, we will create a video on it too. All right. All of that being clear, that being said, let's get started and understand these reserves. So let's talk about contingency reserve. This is basically part of the project's cost baseline. If you've forgotten or if you don't know what cost baseline is, you can watch this video till the end. You will get an idea. Now, this money, the contingency reserve, this reserve money is used for addressing risks that have already materialized. So you have a risk register. You have listed all your risks in the risk register. You have also listed what you're going to do if a risk materializes. Now, let's say this risk materializes, you are going to mitigate it or avoid it or whatever option that you have in your risk register. When you treat this risk, you are going to use the money out of your contingency reserve. So that is what contingency reserve is used for. It cannot be used to address a change request. Very important, specifically from your real life projects. You tend to use, certain project managers tend to use money from the contingency reserve to address some last minute change requests. This is not right. Not even if the contingency reserve is unused, even if you have certain amount in your contingency reserve and the risks that you basically got that amount for, let's say some of the risks did not materialize and you have certain amount in your contingency reserve, you can still not use it for addressing change requests. Very important. It can also not be used for team lunches or project completion party or anything like that. So contingency reserve, very important to understand. This is the money set aside only for risks that have materialized. If no risk materializes in your project, or let's say very less risks materialized in your project and you have quite a big amount left in your contingency reserve, you are still not going to use it for change requests, you're still not going to use it for team lunches, you're still not going to use it for the project completion party. It simply goes back to the company, to the sponsor, or wherever it came from. So that is what contingency reserve is all about. Let's move on and understand management reserve. So let's talk about the management reserve now. Management reserve, it is not part of the project's cost baseline, but it is part of the overall project budget. Now, if you don't know the difference between these two terms, our next slide is going to help you understand that. So for now, you can basically read this and remember this, that management reserve is part of the project budget. It is not part of the cost baseline. Management reserve can be used for issues that had not been previously identified as risks. So in your risk register, a risk that recently materialized in your project that was not available in your risk register. So that risk has materialized and it has now become an issue. How do you handle that issue? The money that is required to handle this issue will come from the management reserve. So this is how management reserve is made use of. All the risks that are available in your risk register, you already have the contingency reserve, the amount under contingency reserve to handle all these risks. But let's say you were not able to identify one risk or more than one risk, and now that risk has materialized, it has become an issue, and you need money to deal with it. You are going to get your hands on the management reserve to deal with such issues. It requires management approval, of course, because this is management reserve, so it requires management approval. In some cases, this can be used for anything that the management approves. So that means your team lunches, your project completion party, all that. If the management approves, you can use your management reserve. Now, this also differs from project to project. This also differs from organization to organization. So that is why I am using the words in some cases, not in all cases for sure. So management reserve, the money with the management can be used only after management approves it. A quick reminder, if you are looking for a 1.5 hour free session on project management, the basics of project management, head over to pmclounge.com/pm101. Everything's free. Check it out. All right, so let's look at the pyramid that I was talking about since we started off with this video. First is activity estimates. This is nothing but the cost of every single activity of your project. If you remember the work breakdown structure, the work is broken down into activities. Each activity can then have a certain cost. You can calculate that. So you've got A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, D1, D2. All these are activities, and you have calculated the cost for all of these activities. Next comes work package estimates. This is nothing but the addition of the relevant or similar activities that are part of a work package. So work package A contains three activities, A1, A2, A3. When you sum them up, you get work package A cost as $100. Similarly, work package B is $250, work package C is $200, and work package D is $300. So your project has four work packages. Next comes control account estimates. This is also something that we have discussed earlier. Control accounts is nothing but a group of work packages. So CA1 in our example is basically a group of work package A and work package B, which means the cost of this control account is $350. Similarly, cost of control account CA2 is $500. After that comes project estimates, which is basically the sum of all the control account values. So the project estimate is $850, CA1 plus CA2. So if somebody asked you your project estimates, you are going to give this value. After this comes contingency reserve. So contingency reserve is the money that you set aside just for the risks, and you do that through the quantitative risk analysis process that we have already discussed. You can definitely check out the second link in the description, which contains the playlist of every single video that we have covered on risk management knowledge area. So contingency reserve based on your calculation should be $150. And then comes cost baseline. Remember, we discussed this previously that contingency reserve is part of the cost baseline. Why so? Because cost baseline is nothing but the addition of your project estimates and the contingency reserve. So you get $1,000, which is the cost baseline for your project. Now comes management reserve, which is the money set aside by management. So you have $250, which is set aside by management for your project, which ultimately creates the project budget or the cost budget. So management reserve is part of your project budget. It is nothing but the addition of your cost baseline and the management reserve, which means $1,250 here. So $1,000 was your cost baseline and $250 was the management reserve. So the project budget, the total project budget was $1,250. So this pyramid is very, very important. You can take a screenshot if you want, but this is definitely going to clarify where does contingency reserve and management reserve come into the picture when you're talking about the cost of your project. That's all that we had in this video. I hope you were able to understand the concepts. Smash that like button if you got value out of it. Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay notified whenever we upload new content. As always, don't forget to check out the website pmclounge.com, your number one free PMP resource. Also, show us some love on our social media handles, twitter.com/pmclounge and facebook.com/pmclounge. Thank you and have a nice day.